We're going to get started here just a minute, but I'm going to quickly, we still, there we go. Got Edmonton. I'm going to share my screen quickly. And I just want to mention two things that we normally don't start off doing this, but we decided I should. Oh, look, you see what a mess my screen.
No, we just see your
oh, you don't see my desktop. It's not that bad. It's in folders, but I do have quite a few things on my desktop. So a couple quick things before we jump right in and introduce you to Shelley and get started is for those of you that are members and those of you that aren't members, we have extended our conference registration early bird till March 15th based on the fact that it is just hard to know what everybody feels safe doing. But for those of you who don't know, our conference will be both virtual and in person. So either way, you're going to get the same full experience. I'm actually having a lot of fun thinking through virtual lounge setup, like with Remo, where you can come into tables and hang out and have lunch with each other while everybody else is having lunch in Atlanta. And so if you register by March 15th, you save $100. You can, every month, we're also giving a week on Fridays, we're giving away. So if you register, and if you've already registered, you'll be entered to win a free course, either a learning lab or profitability live, which happens in November 2021. And so that will officially start this Friday. So go ahead and go to our website to learn to register. We'd love to have you join us. And then last of all, for those of you members that are not members, and if you're listening and you're thinking that you may want to become a member after you hear about it, we do have a February promotion. You save $99 if you join as a certified or annual member. So this is for annual only, not quarterly. We have 3 of our top classes on digital photo organizing from last year's conference that we bundled together. It's normally $99 for these 3 courses, but you get those for free if you join in the month of February and you enter the code SAVE99. So we'll go over that again at the end of talking with Shelley, but that I just wanted to get that out right now. So Shelley, welcome, welcome. Shelley and I have very similar personalities, I think, right? We always laugh about that. We're both excited people, right?
We are.
We would never say we aren't enthusiastic. So tell us a little bit about yourself. Tell us, where you live, who you are, about your business. Okay. And then everybody else will take Q&A. If you have questions, you can go ahead and put them in the chat, and we'll make sure that we leave plenty of time for Shelley to answer your questions.
Awesome. All right. Thanks, Kathy. I love being with you. We do have a lot in common, and that's always fun to come together. But my name is Shelley Murray, and my business is Photo Organizing Services. I am in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And I offer to my clients a couple different things. One is my concierge service, which is basically I do everything for them. It's turnkey. That part of my business I have rebranded, and it's called Rescuing Photos and Family Stories. And it's super fun because I arrive at their house in my new, cute business branded Jeep.
You have a picture of that, Shelley.
Oh, I should have had a picture ready to show you. I don't have a picture. I'll find it as we're talking. When you're talking, I can pull one up.
Okay.
Anyways, it's like army green, and the whole feel is like I'm rescuing their photos. And so I was actually just at a client yesterday, and I packed up the whole Jeep with frames and scrapbooks and all of her children's things that are important to preserve and to tell those stories for future generations. So she felt overwhelmed, right? That's how everybody feels. And I just comforted her and let her know that I'm taking it from here, and she doesn't have to worry about it anymore. And I bring it all back to my studio, do all the photo organizing. Then I have it digitized. I do some in-house. I do some where I send to forever. And then I give it back to them in a forever storage account and help them digitally organize and tell the stories behind their photos. So that's my concierge service. And I basically feel like I'm not in the scanning business. I'm in the telling stories business. So they don't really have to even know all the details of my workflow. They just know that they're going to get it back in a way that they can easily access it, share it, and enjoy it. And then I have a do-it-yourself part of the business where I do training and helping people learn how to do this whole process themselves without, my hourly time, shall we say. So yeah, so that's
I love that model.
Nutshell.
Yeah, I know that, and there's a lot to that. I'm sure people are going to ask a lot of questions about that, but I love, Shelley's model has always been So your concierge, I think, well, it's taken you a while, right,
Yep,
to come
it
to
has.
this conclusion. So maybe just share a little bit about that journey from when you first started, and
Sure.
how you've kind of come to the realization of the two target markets that you're. And I'm asking Shelley this for people that are new or thinking of starting out, to know that you don't know right away what you're going to be, right? And it's an
Right.
evolution. All businesses evolve. And over time, as you get to know who your target customer is, what you really love doing. I think we've had some conversations about that, right, Shelley, over the
Yeah.
years. And so go ahead.
Right. Yeah. So, when I was starting out, all the people who have been doing this a long time, their big advice is don't offer everything, right? Specialize and kind of know what your thing is. But when I was coming out and beginning my business, the problem is that I wanted any client because I needed to make money. That was like I needed to make money. So I wanted to take everyone. I didn't want to say no to anyone. But on the other hand, I was listening to their advice and their wisdom about really honing in and knowing what you want to do. But I just had to learn that on my own. I had to just start off offering a variety of things, not turning anyone down, to get to a point where I recognize, okay, what is it that I love? And what I love is client interface. I love being with the client. You can call it sales if you want. I call it service, but it is that relationship building with the client. And I love that. What I don't love, I think you were asking that too, right? This is where we're similar. I don't love the actual doing part of it. I don't like the scanning part of it. I don't necessarily, to be honest with you, even want to be the person sitting down, going through and organizing all the photos. I do some of that, but I have people that come in and do that aspect for me. So I can keep moving forward with getting new clients and building that relationship, and have someone else doing the actual processes that are entailed in, telling these stories.
I
So,
like, and the fact that you needed to earn money right away. To tell us a little bit about, you're single mom, right? And
yes.
with 4 children, right? And so
Yeah.
go ahead and tell us, like, especially those that are listening, maybe that are in that situation, or just knowing, how do you run a business as a single mom, and
Yeah.
responsible for the revenue in your family and things like that.
Right. So I'm not sure if many people know this aspect, but I was part of the team at Forever for 7 years, from when Forever started. And then I left Forever and opened my own photo organizing business, working with clients. So when I left a salary and I left a corporate income. And I was a little bit nervous and scared being a single mom. I knew whatever I was doing next, I had to make it work, because if I couldn't make my business work and I couldn't make the amount of money that I need, then I would have to go do, what do they say? Get a real job. But it is a real job. But anyways, so I was really motivated to figure out, all right, what is it that I need to do to bring in the same or more money that I was bringing in before? And so I was really motivated by that. And I spent time looking in the different aspects of, where am I making the most amount of money? What part of my business is generating the most income? What part of my business am I really enjoying and loving? And that really helped me to hone down and recognize what it is that I want to do. And at the same time, recognizing that it's going to be the thing that's going to bring the most amount of money, because my time is so valuable. Being a single mom with 4 kids, I'm on the go a lot. So I think my job is really a lifestyle job. And one thing I always say to my clients, I want to give impeccable service. I want my clients to love me and refer me. So I do whatever it takes to make that client happy. So my phone is always available for my clients to call me or to text me. I want to be on call for them like that. So my kids know if somebody's calling, I'm like, oh, it's a work call. And I'll just like leave what we're doing and go pop out in the hallway and have this call. So I feel like it's just part of the lifestyle that I have and that we do. And I love it so much that it's a hobby for me to work. So I'm not feeling like it's a drag, like I enjoy it. I might enjoy it a little too much. I might maybe need to learn how to put the brakes on it sometimes, but I do plenty of, off and doing stuff with my kids and making meals and driving people around and all those things too.
Great. So, okay, there's folks, if you have questions, go ahead and put that. Somebody asked me, where did my blue glasses go? Kathy, thanks for that. I
Oh,
know,
Kathy,
I went
there
conservative.
they are.
I went with, I decided to tone down my look for a little bit.
Good.
Let's see. So tell us about, though, so you kind of shared the story of that, when you first started, you took every job that you could get because you felt
Right.
like you were panicking. and you want to take everything. And so this next question I was going to ask, and somebody just asked it when you got started, where did you advertise? How did you get the word out? So how did you get your word out? And as you got started,
Yeah.
and now, and then how are you continuing to do that?
Yeah, that's a great question. And you know what? That actually ties in with a question I think someone put in the Facebook group about how do you get your clients. So my whole perspective on this is that I do things to elevate myself to be the expert in my area. So I do things like, I know we haven't been doing a lot of speaking, right, during quarantine, but there have been a number of things that I've spoken at, and your library and places like that, different small group organizations, and always educating myself. Like, I mean, I've been in the industry for a long time, so that kind of gives me a foot up. I recognize that, but my encouragement is to become an expert in this and what you are doing, so that when you speak with information that people don't know. So then suddenly when you're explaining something to them, maybe what you're talking about that I find I talk about a lot is, I call it the truth behind cloud storage. Like, I look and show and discuss all the differences between cloud storage out there, the free plan and what that means as far as data mining goes, the paid plan and what that means as far as it doesn't outlive you, those kinds of things. So whenever I'm speaking, I feel like I'm speaking a lot of good truth and good things that people don't know. So then I become like the expert. So then they tell their friends. And when people need something photo related, they call me. They kind of know in my community. So there's different Facebook groups in my community that are like suggestions or business shout outs and things like that. And so I try to be, in there as well. I also don't try to come across as a salesperson ever. People do not like to be sold to. They like to buy things, but they don't want to be sold to. So I try to just provide information and be a service, like, showcase my service, not what I'm selling. So that's kind of it. I feel like you get to the point where people are calling you instead of you trying to be out there telling,
And then that didn't happen overnight, right? So remember too, and the other thing on these career advice from Pro, we try to feature different people at different levels of their business. So somebody asked right away though, how did you get those speaking engagements? And then they said, where else? Like, where else besides
Facebook
did you get?
So good question. First thing is you can speak oftentimes like at your library, your historical society, different like maybe church organizations. Those are some of the places that I have spoken at in the past. Get in with your historical society. That's a really great place because they have a lot of information and a lot of important things that need to be digitized and preserved. They generally are not living in safe archival quality environments right now. So that's a good one to get in on. So I have spoken to our historical society a couple of times, and I've actually joined the historical society. So now my name is kind of on that list. And when I spoke at the historical society, I spoke to the board of 12 people. So now they all know what I do. And then they individually have called me to do work for them. And then of course, they tell their friends. And I feel like a big part of my business is referrals. Once you have a client that loves what you do and you've provided wonderful service, they're going to tell other people as well.
Is your historical society, we say Pittsburgh, but is it the Pittsburgh Historical Society, or are you in a suburb of Pittsburgh?
I'm in a suburb. So it's the suburbs historical society. And I'll tell you, here's the thing. They're not real fast and moving. They're slow. They need to have like us younger whippersnappers coming in, like getting all their stuff organized and in the cloud and that kind of thing. But they're a little bit hesitant. So we're taking it step by step. But in the process, I've gotten a lot of business from the people who are part of the historical society. I have a lot of ideas, but they're not jumping on board as fast as I'd like them to. But that's okay. I'm going to be here. I'm not going anywhere. Someone asked about Facebook. So, there's all of these places for us to advertise on social media and to talk about what we do, right? And I've been down that path of like Instagram and Twitter and all these ideas. But what I'm circling back to is my ideal client. My ideal client is like a baby boomer. Sometimes I say a blonde with a checkbook. That one's kind of a joke, but it's the one who has all the stuff. They have the money and they want to hire me. I'm not inexpensive, so it definitely is an investment for them. But that's my ideal client. So why am I going to spend time putting out my information on Instagram? Because that's not where those people are living. My ideal clients are living in Facebook. So that's pretty much where I do my social media, but I will tell you, I'm not very good at it. I actually have outsourced that. So hopefully that's going to be getting better. But that is kind of where I'm sticking. The other thing is LinkedIn is awesome. I've gotten a couple of male clients from LinkedIn because LinkedIn is mainly male, it's professional. And, you know, there's a lot of males out there. In fact, I've got an appointment with a new client this afternoon who's a male. They are very concerned about their family history. So sometimes it's that mom, sometimes it's a male. So I would encourage you to be up on LinkedIn, and it's a very professional environment as well. So I'm not posting in LinkedIn the same way I post in Facebook. I'm doing educational type posts occasionally when I get there.
And somebody else was asked about Facebook, but also, are you a member of your local chamber? Have you gotten involved in your local chamber?
I'm not actually.
Okay.
I'm not really familiar. I wouldn't know
I
where
was
to
thinking,
go.
Philip Griffith in Ohio, and I remember in Ohio, who he does a lot of, and then their chamber of commerce has taken all their meetings online, so he does a lot through LinkedIn. He's found most of his clients a lot through LinkedIn, and his chamber using that. So that's just another, some quick ideas there. Another question that I saw, I see all the questions coming in. We'll get back to some more of these, but I wanted to stay on the questions that I try and ask each person when we do this is and somebody did ask, give us an example of a client that you had that you didn't like and why, or, an experience, and how did you manage that?
Oh, goodness. I feel like I like all of my clients.
Maybe not the person as much as the project.
The job.
Yeah.
Job. Well, I'm kind of thinking, like, I had a call the other day, somebody wanting me to put together a video reel, and I was like, I can refer you, but I didn't want to take that on. So I guess I'm to the point now where I'm like saying no to jobs. Again, I don't want to be the everything to everyone. I like to work in my own workflow. So I have my own processes now. It took me 2 years to kind of solidify what this looks like and to do it. And so either if they want to work with me, they got to get on board to my workflow and game plan. I don't do this just for the way they want to do it. So I'm not just a scanning business. So for example, I'm going to give this example. So the client I'm meeting with this afternoon, actually, this gentleman, we had spoken on the phone, and I'm not so sure he's sold on my processes. Right. And I'm going to meet with him and tell him that I'm not just a scanning company. You can go elsewhere if you just want scanning done, or I can offer you my do-it-yourself option, which I offered through Forever. But he has to be on board with how I do it. I'm not going to, leave out, like, the truth of the matter is, he wasn't sure if he wanted to use Forever. Well, I said, that's my process, because that's how I'm, I teach you how to share, how to easily access, how to download, and that's the process. So if he's not wanting to get on board with all of that, then I won't work with him. Does that answer it pretty well?
Because somebody else asked a question too about what if a client doesn't want to use Forever? So Shelley, because her background isn't, for those of you that are unfamiliar with Forever, it's a company that you can explain it better than I'm going to probably do, but it is one tool we like to talk about as the photo managers, and many of our members, there's many tools in your tool box. And some members love Forever and use Forever. Others use Forever. You might use, I think you probably do use SmugMag on occasion. Some people, there's different, you have your own choices that you choose based on what you know and what you love and what you believe in. And certainly, because Shelley worked for Forever as well, it makes sense to, that business and company really well, right?
Yeah. And, being in the master classes here, Kathy, it's really neat to see everybody's flavor, how they do this. We all come at this with our own creativity, with our own workflow, with our own expertise and knowledge. And everybody at the master class was awesome, but none of us did it the same way. There's no like one way, right? So these people that I was colleagues with all had their own systems, and they were fabulous. This is my system, and I do believe in it. So I'm passionate about what I do, and that's part of why I do what I do, because I'm passionate about it. So, that's
I mentioned too that people, and I'll look back. So you have your concierge services, which is really the big part we're talking about, but then you also have that DIY piece of your business as well. Right. And you talk a little bit about what made you decide to split your business, recognizing that there are these two components, right? And then and just a little bit about that process.
Yep. So utilizing Forever, I recognize that they can use Forever themselves and me be their ambassador. Or I can use Forever for them and do the work for them hourly and then give them their account completely curated and ready to go. So whether I'm working and doing it for them or they're doing it on their own, they're going to need me to be their ambassador or their assistant or their trainer. So I offer them training and how to use a Forever account basically. So either they're the concierge client who then needs to know how to use it, or it's the person doing it on their own. And so either way, I offer that training for that. So people can stumble on my website, meet me, and I can say, sure, jump in, I'll help you. I'd love to get you started and get started here with your Forever account. And then I'm there and I provide training for them as well moving forward.
So people that are new coming in, this idea of the DIY, a lot of times people will get started maybe and think I want to do this myself, and then they get stuck in the middle of the process. They say, oh, you take it over or whatever. So that is an opportunity that if you're as you're just starting out, to pay attention to the different levels of clients, and maybe there's ways that you can find ways to meet people where they're at, and then as you kind of narrow down your skill set, right? I like the fact that you said it took you 2 years to come up with your workflow. So this is not, we're always careful to tell people it takes time. This is a business. It's a legitimate business that isn't something that, you're going to learn how to be a photo manager in 3 months or 6 months. And you're going to find again, people have asked that question in the chat too, like, how did you know what you wanted to do? In some ways, right, you have to try a lot of things to know. But go ahead. I mean, and that's my opinion on that. But what do you think on that, Shelley? How do you know what you really wanted to do?
Well, yeah. And, you ask about like the first job and your favorite job and how do you know what you want to do and all that. You just have to do it, right, to figure out what it is that you like. But I remember being at conference 2 years ago, and Kathy Stone, that breakout session on the photo organizing project. And I was just like so excited to do a photo organizing project. I wanted to get into somebody's home, gather all their things, bring them back to my studio and do the work. And, Kathy did such an awesome job, like teaching us, showing us exactly what she was doing. I took all kinds of notes. I felt like I'm ready. This is what I want to do. And I was excited about that. So I'm answering a couple of questions at once here. So I remember when I went to my first job, yes, it was my first job, but I didn't want to act like it was my first job, right? So I just acted like, yeah, this is great. I can do this for you and this for you. So just like going in there with that confidence that you've done it before, even if you haven't done it before, you're going to learn along the way. It's not rocket science, right? I just gathered all their stuff and I appeared to be smart and professional with them. And they were very trusting and excited. And then you just come home, unload everything, and you get at it. And all the learning that I'd received from the conference and some of the other trainings I had watched helped me to kind of have a good plan of attack when I was organizing all these things myself. So my first job, I was doing all of that work myself. But then I realized, hey, I can't spend all these hours doing the work if I want to keep getting more jobs. I'm having people call, so I've got to hire someone to do something. So I love that out front and have someone else come and do the behind the scenes kinds of things.
Right. I like that.
So,
I think again, that's learning your to be in your desire zone. I think I'm doing some training. I think people know I'm doing this training with Michael Hyatt, but I had to take a list of everything I do for like a month. And I had to write, is it in my desire zone? My drudgery? Is it desire, drudgery, disinterest, or I forget the other fourth D, but it was fascinating to look at that. And to start, maybe even for yourselves over time, the goal is for people to be working more and more in their desire zone. You'll be more successful. You'll enjoy your work more. And then to think about how you don't have to do all the things that you might consider drudgery. So I think, Shelley, that's kind of the realization you came in some of the processes that you were doing. But you don't know that if you haven't started that out yet, right? You're not going to know what you consider drudgery. The good news is that some of the things that you might consider drudgery, say if it's scanning. When I first started, I did a lot of the scanning. I really loved scanning in the beginning. Eventually, I used to call it like watching paint dry because I found it something that I didn't really enjoy. And my kids happened at that time to be young adolescents. I hired my kids. My kids both earned really good money, and my son to this day will pick up scanning jobs using our scanners as a way to make some extra money because he became an expert at doing some of the scanning, and I paid him for that. So I didn't have to do that work. I was more able to do the work of going out and getting the clients, interfacing with the clients, than doing some of that work behind the scenes. So those are things I want people to, think about as you're thinking about the career process. Okay, another couple more questions and then we'll go to the Q&A. Is juggling your time. Like, how do you manage your your time? Have you, like you said, you're busy with 4 kids. Do you have a set schedule of how you work? Do you, what is it? Have you come up with some processes over time that have kind of improved for you?
I have, I kind of feel like I've tried a number of things like, calendar blocking my days of when I do sessions and that kind of thing. But so yes, and the resources help me with that is Calendly. So in my Calendly, which is the scheduler that a lot of photo managers use, I have different options for people. So if it's a 2-hour work session, because I'll meet clients on Zoom for 2 hours to help them in the Forever account, basically do some of the organizing. It's a 2-hour session. They can just log in, and I do 2-hour sessions, twice or 3 times a week. If it's a 30-minute intake appointment, I have a lot of places on my calendar for that. I'll just pipe them in when I can, because that's most important is intake, bringing that client in. So I want to make sure that I have a lot of options for those clients. And then my pickup service, I have a calendar blocked on different times, but I try to always be open to a change because I want to meet their needs before my own. So I say, if you don't see something on the calendar, let me know. And I can rearrange my schedule a little bit for you. So I just try to be like uber flexible, and I can because of my lifestyle.
Get your pudding.
Let's see. I think we can mute. Oh, I can't mute. You could do that, Kathy. But I'm also just as flexible with taking off time of work too. And, picking up with some work in the evening or late at night, something like that. So I feel like being a single mom, I've got to be flexible, and that this business allows me to do that. I can do a lot of work, late at night as well.
All right. And then how has being a member of the photo managers been a resource for you or helpful?
Yeah, it's been so helpful because of a couple of reasons. One is education, just learning the professionalism, the how-to, the expertise, the professionalism. The second thing is interacting with everyone else, networking, learning what everybody's doing, getting advice from each other, asking questions, getting a resource. I so value the connections that I've made at the photo managers, because whenever I have one question, I don't even have to research it. I just can ask someone else, and everybody's so open and willing to share. And I feel like we pool together our resources to be able to get a good and quick response and answer. An example of that is one of my biggest clients who was on the phone with him today, actually, but he has so much family history, but he has 3 journals that his grandmother hand wrote, like in the the early 1900s, the late 1800s. Yeah, the late 1800s. That she hand wrote, and it is like 101 journals, 157 pages. And I needed someone to transcribe it. So I just put a message out there on the photo managers, and I had like 4 people message, with people who do that. And I found someone who is fabulous, and she has just loved doing this project. And I was thinking about that this morning. I would never have found her had we not pooled together all of our resources and been able to share. So I think there's great value in education and networking and in sharing.
Yeah, that's a great story. That's a good example. And the other neat thing too is people always know, especially like Apple Photo, we have people that really know a lot about Apple Photos. So if you have a question about, a client, maybe you're not using the use of the Apple ecosystem and you have questions, there's somebody who knows. Or the PC, I noticed recently somebody who's totally, I think she uses mostly PC, right? She said, all right, I'm getting ready to dip my toe in here. What do I do? And then, 39 people responded, and it's amazing the answers that people get. All right, those are the questions I kind of had, but it looks like people are going. I'm going to scroll through here to see. Why don't you, while I'm looking at these questions, you gotta show them your. Yeah,
my Jeep.
Your Jeep. Okay.
All right.
And then, how do you price jobs? That's always a big.
Yeah.
Just speaking to the person who asked that too. When you one of the drawings that we're doing for that if you register for the conference in the next, before Friday, you're in a drawing for our profitability workshop. So this is a big question, and we are addressing this in a significant way this year with at the photo managers. I'll let Shelley answer it, but there's pricing is a very complex topic, and there's a lot of different approaches to it, and we're getting better and better at helping our members learn from the ones that have gone before them. And even during that, we actually do dock real prices and things like that. So go ahead though, Shelley, I'll let you answer.
Yeah, I mean, that, and the other thing is we're not really supposed to talk about exactly what we do our pricing as. I recognize that, but I basically do an hourly rate. So I have an hourly rate, and I charge that hourly rate if I'm working or if I have someone else doing that work. And I know we can't really share what that hourly rate is, but that's how I work it.
Or a range, just give a range, because you're in the Pittsburgh area. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So a range, I guess it would be $75 an hour to $95 an hour.
Good. Yeah, that's about right. I was going to talk about that. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. The other thing though, I would say is I'm really, a lot of the people who've been doing this a long time, what they try to do is come up with a pricing, per job. And that's really hard to do because when you're picking up a bin of stuff, you don't know if that's a 2-hour bin or a 6-hour bin, right? I've had both. We've had 2 hours of all the way up to 6 hours worth of organizing inside of it. So I'm trying to come up with a better way to give an estimate anyways for my pickup service. I had a load that I picked up in Cleveland. I've driven out there 2 times to load up the back of the truck. And are you still there, Kathy? Because I'm frozen.
Oh, I'm here. Yeah.
Oh, no. Okay. All right. I'm still here. Anyways, so it's kind of trying to figure out how many hours did it take to do everything in the back of this truck? So I'm calculating that as I go, but it's just become really hard because there's such a range. So right now I'm just $85 an hour. It's not cheap. I know that when you're looking at this whole big project, but it's definitely worth it.
How have you connected with lawyers, realtors, clients who are downsizing or dealing with family estates? In my professional background, I seem to be coming across more clients who could utilize the services of a photo organizer.
Let's see. So sorry, I was looking for the picture. So is she asking me how do I connect with them?
Yeah, or is that, yeah. Do you find that as a need?
Yeah. So I have connected with a couple of people who are like divorce attorneys saying that this would be great for their clients. I've connected with people, I think kind of those areas through LinkedIn, but I'm not really out there looking for that. So I don't know if I have really any advice how to find that. I feel like people have more or less found me and recognized, oh, this is a great solution because it is, but I don't know if I really have any advice as far as how to go out there and get them.
Somebody's asked this question a few times too. What do you tell people that are concerned that something will happen to their photos when you have them?
Well, to be honest with you, I haven't had anybody say that before. Isn't that interesting? You would think that that would be a concern. But just to let you guys know, I do have business insurance on my space, on my home, house insurance, but also business insurance, because that's really important. So as soon as I take up their things, it is insured. But I have not had anybody question or be worried about their items being in my studio. I have had people concerned about how I use Forever storage. I use Forever Box to do all my scanning and digitizing. I do some scanning at home and I do camera scanning here, but for the other things I ship it off. So they've been concerned about FedEx. And the way I talk about FedEx is just that shipping is so different these days than it used to be, and they really don't have problems. It is so well tracked that going from Pittsburgh to Green Bay, which is where the facility is, the box turns 263 times apparently, and there's a photo taken each time it turns. So it is very well documented, and things are not lost like they used to be. And that seems to make people feel comfortable enough to use my services.
And also quick question about, the question about worrying about, one thing that I used to do, I'm sure a lot of our members do as well, is inventory take photographs and get a very good inventory and description of all that when you remove something from somebody's home, you want to inventory that and get them to agree that these are the items that you have. So there's no question like, oh, I know I gave you a red album or whatever. I'm not sure. Do you have a process of that, Shelley, that you do that so that you're protecting yourself and them, right?
Yeah. So I don't mean to get up, but I'm just going to grab this. I was just with the client yesterday. I did a pickup. So, okay. So I've gone manual because, right, there's all these things we can do online, and they just like, I don't want to say they confuse me, but I just want to see it. I want to touch it. So I made these forms. So everybody gets a clipboard, and I just put like my logo up at the top, and then I write down every single thing I put from the client. So what I write down like 18 frames, right? A bag of digital assets. So I write it all down and I have them sign. And then I kind of have that. And then when I return it, I don't return it this way because I've taken it all apart and organized it. I give it back in a very beautiful archival quality storage box.
That's great. All right. And somebody else was saying, my experience, the client should sign a legal document when they hand it to you. And when they pick up, they may track you down years later and say you never gave back all the photos, right? So one thing that's been fascinating, I mean, I've been doing, so we've been in existence as a professional organization for 11 years now, coming up on 12, and we've never had a complaint to us personally. I mean, we do work really hard with certification and a code of ethics that we stress, and really good, we've really kind of come up with a better way of, best practices and things like that. We talk about it all the time, but we have never had anybody contact us with a complaint by somebody who did not properly care for the client's collections and things. I'm sure at some point that could happen, but
the other thing, Kathy, is I feel,
yeah,
I feel that I'm developing relationships with these people. We're becoming friends. Right. So I'm not to say that if I don't do something wrong, something could happen. I recognize that, but I don't feel like it's the same thing as I'm going to a company and I'm handing over my stuff to the people at home Mac or Office Max. You know what I mean? And I hope nothing happens to it. It is me and a relationship. And while I do have them sign things, I feel like we get to develop more of a relationship than I'm just a store. Does that make sense?
That's like concierge service, the idea of concierge service. And do you use the language concierge service on your
I do.
Your website? You're using by setting, the word concierge service in media applies to people that are interested, is that you are offering, they're not expecting you're going to do that for free. So I think that's where language can really have an impact too on what you're trying to communicate with your clients. Not everybody says they offer concierge services, and not everybody has to do that. So again, there's multiple paths to success here, depending on what works best for you. So Tia asks again, do you sort photos and get rid of duplicates or bad photos, or do you let the client get rid of them?
Oh, that's a great question. So the process is that we pull out all the duplicates and all the bad photos, and I put them in basically a pile that I say we should get rid of these, but I do let them thumb through before we get rid of them. So they have to get rid of them, not me. Although I take that back. If it's a duplicate, I get rid of the duplicate. So the pile are the things that I think we should not scan. So I threw away the duplicates. The things I don't think we should scan, they're blurry photos. They're like landscape. They're not important to the story. I'm trying to pull out the story. Then those are the ones I just say thumb through, but I recommend we do not keep these.
Let's see. Somebody asked if they want to learn more about Forever from you. Why don't you can you quickly type in your chat, your email there, Shelley?
Oh, sure. Photos at shelleymurray.com.
Let's see. Good. Okay. All right. I think
I do lead. May I say that I lead a team of Forever ambassadors too? But I will say there's a lot of ambassadors who lead teams. I'm not the only one, but I will say we have an awesome team, and most of my team members are photo managers, and it is a great group of people that I really enjoy being with and coaching and training them. So
great. Yep. All right. Let's see. I think that seems to be, I think we've covered. Anybody else got a last minute question here? Well, I wait for you to type that in. I'm going to again pull up what I talked about. Whoops, at the beginning here.
Do you want me to show you my photo first?
Oh, yes.
My sheet photos. Okay. You have to give me a sharing.
Oh, I got to give you a screen sharing. I got to make you a host. Hang on. All this stuff with Shelley. Co-host.
You should just be able to click share screen on the
No,
bottom.
she wants to share it.
Yeah,
Okay.
now I got it. I got it now. I just have to find the right one. Oh, here we go. Okay, so this is my little logo. And I have a car magnet on my car that looks like that, except not me on it. That's just kind of another logo. And then,
Oh, that's your logo. That's not an actual picture. No, that's the one I wanted. You posted a picture of you.
is it, do you see my, are you seeing where it says like rescuing photos
Yeah.
and family stories?
Yeah.
So the other thing I'm having done, I just ordered them today, is you know those bags, those little tote bags, the grocery type bags that are fabric. I'm ordering a bunch of those so I can give stuff back to the client in these bags. Not that it's presented like that, but like when I'm taking things I'm not scanning, I want to give this back to the client. And so they have this, we're working on this logo on it too. So this is just pictures of the Jeep that I had done, but there it is. Isn't it cute? If nothing else, it's super fun. It works.
I would think it works well. Yeah, for those that can pull that off. If you know, again, I want to stress too, right? Different personalities, different people, you know, different comfort levels with what they're good at doing, and so I love that. So again, let's see. I want to share my screen. Oh, let's see. You have to stop sharing, right?
I did.
Oh, okay.
But do I need to give you back?
Nope, I got it. Okay.
Okay.
Well, anybody else looking for final questions? I just wanted to say again, this has been great. So hopefully you've got an idea about, again, each month we do that. We bring very different people. So you realize the diversity in the organization and people that are professionals. And if you join in the month of February, we do have, you could save $99. We have 3 classes to get you started. This is really focused on digital gathering best practices, going remote, how to organize photos without leaving your home, and how to market your business to high-end clients. And it's, you have to join as a full member, either annual or certified or not. And then also we were mentioning conference, whoops, and what did I do with that logo there? Sorry. We were talking about conference, and this year, again, conference is something that anybody, you do not have to be a member of the photo organizers to be a member to come to conference. The pricing doesn't change or anything. We've extended our early bird rate to March 15th. It is considered hybrid. So if you are comfortable, if you're in South Africa, if you're in Canada and you're not traveling at this point to the United States, it'll all be virtual, but also you can join us in Atlanta. If you register by March 15th, you save $100. And then each, to make it fun, and we're trying to get, I know people are still on the fence a little bit, so we're kind of prompting people to register sooner than later. We're doing a weekly drawing on Fridays where we'll give away either a learning lab or a profitability live course that'll be happening in November. So I just wanted to bring that to everybody's attention again, one more time.
And I see 2 more questions too, Kathy.
Okay, yep.
And I didn't mean to cut you off. Definitely encourage everybody to register for the conference. If you haven't done that yet, do it now so Kathy knows that people are coming. I know it's
registered yet, Shelley?
I will be by this afternoon. I'm definitely going. It's just been on my list that it's very long. So I encourage all of you, if you're going, let's register so Kathy can get a feel of how many people are coming. Either, you know, virtually or in person. So I will register today. Maybe others will too. Okay, so there was 2 questions that I saw that I didn't answer. One is, do I charge to go to a client's house for travel time? And I don't. I make that be part of my service that I offer them. In the beginning, I was charging $150 for a photo management plan where I go to their house and I do everything and I, you know, map out a plan for them. And if somebody called me and it got to that, I would still charge that. But, you know, I was with somebody yesterday as a new client, and I can tell this is going to be a very long time client. I'm going to be getting a lot of business from her. I didn't want to mess around with, oh, by the way, I'm charging you $150 today for making this plan with you, because I didn't really talk about that in the beginning, which is, it used to be denoted on my website, but it's not now. So I think it feels really good for me just to come and do this gathering and picking it up in my car without charging them. And that's just something new that I've kind of developed. My Cleveland client really wanted to pay me for my time, and I let him because I had to drive so far to get it. But I think it's just part of my concierge service that I want to offer to clients. I you know, do things free occasionally just to develop that relationship. I have somebody who wanted me to print 2 photos for them for a frame. And she's like, just let me know how much I owe you. I printed it locally. It cost me like $1.12. So of course, I'm just going to drop that off at her house with a little note saying, I appreciate and value your business. And that's going to make her talk about me to someone else I know. So just doing little free things like that for people as picking up the things, I think is a great value add. And it is part of providing that impeccable service. And then the other question, may I just mention, somebody had mentioned how they felt a bad feeling about Forever being an MLM. Can I speak to that for just a moment? Mm-hmm. So we've been with Forever for a long time. And I will tell you that Forever is a really professional organization. And while in the past it may have felt a little bit like an MLM, it really is not run like that at all. And if you ask other ambassadors, it has become such a professional organization. And yes, I do lead a team and I do make money from my team, but I also invest a lot of time and a lot of training in my team. And so me making that income on, if you want to call it a downline, I just call it my team, is because of all the investment of time that I'm giving to train and help lead them and grow them up. So it is, if you look at the structure, you might feel like it looks like that, but it really is something quite different because you have to be so highly educated to be able to help people with this type of a technology. It's not like we're just selling lipstick or, makeup. So it's definitely not an MLM. And so anyways, I just wanted to let you know that because I feel like that might be a misconception at times, but if you were part of the ambassador program, you would recognize that it's very professionally run. Yeah.
Okay. Good. Did you see any other questions? I think otherwise we are good. So thank you everybody for your time. It's almost, it's been an hour, almost 2 o'clock. So again, we'd love to have you. If you're thinking about becoming a member, we'd love to welcome you, come to conference. Also, Shelley, great job. I think
Thank you.
You do a great job of describing, again, the kind of the growth where you took on everything initially, that you have, it's taken you a few years to work through all your processes. I know you have really worked hard. Shelley has been somebody who's leaned on, asked for advice, set up calls with me. I'm sure other people in the organization. And, but, you have a wonderful business. And I'm sure your clients adore you. And if you were taking care of all my stuff, I'd be like, here, take it all.
Thank you.
And the fact that you put that Jeep out there is a riot. So not for everybody. So again, as you keep coming back to these calls, those that are thinking about it, or your new members of the photo managers, you'll find what works for you. Not everybody would want to drive around and feel, I would be very shy and not feel confident in a Jeep with my business on it. So that was me. I never put my business on my car, but that doesn't mean it doesn't work for everybody, right? So each person finds their own place. So.
Well, and I will say one other thing about that is my name is Shelley Murray Photo Organizing Services. But I realized, like, what is that? If somebody sees that name on the car, they're just not going to click, right? So that's when I decided I got to rebrand a little bit, rescuing photos and then scanning, media conversion, DVDs. That's where people are going to be like, oh, yeah, I need that. I need her.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure all around town, everybody knows your Jeep. How could they not, right? They must.
So, yeah, so it's just part of getting yourself out there. Yeah, so that people are calling you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, those those car signs actually can have a lot of value. Yeah, I underestimate. Somebody was asking, how do I get new clients? I mean, you can get those metal, you can have it created and it's a metal thing on your car in a parking lot and things like that. People will see what you do. So that's old fashioned.
For our business, especially for our business.
Yeah.
So, and mine are stickers on the window that I had somebody design them here. If anybody needs that contact, I'm happy to pass it along. He did a great job. And they peel off. So
that's good. Okay. Yeah. They're not. So they peel off. Yeah. And it is a visual, that's grassroots marketing. It's not like how many times you have to post on Instagram, you're in town, you're a local person. This is what you do. So I think those are things worth thinking about, everybody.
So can I tell you a quick story that's really funny? I had just gotten the stickers on my car. I'm in my little community in my town. I pull up in front of this restaurant that my daughter works at. I'm sitting out front having coffee, looking at my new car thinking, oh, this is so cute. So then behind it comes this really expensive car with this man sitting in it, and I'm watching him, and he's like, and he calls, and it's my phone that rings, and I'm like, that guy is calling me. So he answers the phone. He's like, I'm sitting behind this Jeep And I'm laughing. I'm like, I'm sitting next to you drinking coffee. And next thing you know, he's like, I have all these reel-to-reels and tapes that need converted. So 15 minutes later, I drove to his house, which is a couple blocks away, picked up a shoebox of his tapes and had all those converted. And it was a great client. It was the one, it was like, I was like, this works. Like the whole sticker thing is working. And so that was my good success story after I got the Jeep sticker.
That's a great story. I love
Yeah.
it. Really
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. I guess we should go now.
All right. Well, good luck with your client this afternoon.
Thank you.
Mentioning you actually have a lot of male clients. A lot of times you say
I
he.
do.
So
Yeah.
that's important information too, right?
Yeah.
So
They're even better than the female because they're not particular at all. They're just like,
they probably also don't mind pulling out their they're not going to question the value usually of
correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Okay.
Well, it was fun. Thanks
All right.
everybody for coming.
Take care. All right.
Bye.
Bye.